Attractive women cannot afford to date down. If you're dating somebody who is beneath you, who, you're clearly out of his league, and he's an insecure guy, he will always take it out on you.
Ah, yes, women dating down. Somehow this is a man's fault that women date down and then are disappointed with how that came out. What cracks me up about this is women don't really date down. At least they don't start out that way. When they first start dating a guy, or they first meet a guy and they start dating, at least at that point, the man is above her. And maybe over time, she discovers that he really isn't living up to her standards. But initially, she wasn't dating down. Anyway, guys, I'm back putting up videos. And this first one, we're going to start off with the topic of how women supposedly date down and how it's men's fault that women date down for some reason. But before we get started, if you guys need any of my private coaching, just head on over to my website at soa.fm and tap on the coaching tab. And there you'll see I have several options for you to choose from. I offer phone coaching for my North American clients, and I offer Zoom coaching for my clients outside North America, which means I coach people worldwide. But enough with the jibber jabber. Let's get on with the show.
I think I've come up with a theory, and it's called the date down theory /
Actually, the date down theory is one of the oldest theories, and it sucks because it's the theory that makes it really hard for women to talk about our preferences and our standards openly. Society is way too comfortable seeing women compromise with the men that we date. So when we do say things like, I want a guy with a job, immediately we're called gold digger. But men can analyze women from head to toe and use the defense of, well, I'm looking for the mother of my children. And other men will support that because men have never had a time where they have to compromise. Men always had this, they've created the beauty standard, for fuck's sake. So they know what standards they want in women.
I just want to interrupt here really quick. That she's claiming that men created the beauty standard. We did not create the beauty standard, okay? For the most part, men really don't care. Obviously, we want an attractive woman, but we do not set the beauty standards. Women set the beauty standards, and they enforce them. So that has nothing to do with us. I know a lot of feminists prefer to put the blame on us, but that's simply not the case. But let's continue.
In women. As outrageous as those beauty standards are, women actually meet those beauty standards. So there's a trust there that men can set their standards high because these women exist. However, women have never had a time where we set a standard and a bunch of men met it and became these great men that we can compare the bad ones to. No, we don't know if great men exist. So what we do is create theories that help us find comfort in places where we are very uncomfortable dating men. But what it does is it enables bad behavior and helps them not change.
Yeah, again, we did not create the beauty standard, okay? And yes, of course, men have standards, but she's making it sound like we have these over-the-top standards that are completely delusional. But for the most part, men as a whole do not have very high standards. I mean, after all, we're pretty simple creatures. We want an attractive woman. We want a sweet woman. We want a woman that respects us. And we want a woman that's going to bring us peace into our lives. It's not really asking for that much. But this girl is making it seem like men are out to get women or something like that. And that we have it far too easy because women just fall over in front of us with their legs up in the air, and women need to stop doing this for some reason. What she's not talking about is that women are actually the choosers. Okay, men approach women typically, and women decide if they want to go out on a date with that man and continue dating that man, and ultimately decide if they want to be in a relationship with that man. So if they have any problems with a particular man or just men in general, it's because they are choosing wrong. And I'm not saying men don't choose wrong, because we do all the time, but women putting the blame on us like it's something that we did and how it's unsafe for them, or society has held them back from dating the men that they really want to date. But the truth is, they are the ones that select men. And if they have problems with the men that they select, well, that's not on us. That's on her or women in general. And like I said at the beginning of this video, women do not date down. I mean, they are hardwired, biologically hardwired to date up. And like I said, they may make mistakes doing that, thinking that the guy is high value initially. And then over time, she learns that he wasn't, or that he lost it all. But what do they usually do when that happens? They break up with the guy, or they divorce him, or they just overall leave them. More or less the same thing a guy would do if he were in that position. Let's see what these other women have to say.
Attractive women cannot afford to date down. If you're dating somebody who is beneath you, who, you're clearly out of his league, and he's an insecure guy, he will always take it out on you. And this also goes for a man who clearly can't afford you. You're also out of his league. You have to be really careful, because these emasculated, insecure men, they're going to end up enraged because they're so emasculated, they're so insecure, and the only way they can make their sad little selves feel better is by exerting some form of control over you, potentially even abuse, to put you in your place. Because insecure men have this need to enforce this sick power dynamic where you're beneath him. And the clearer it is that you are not beneath them, that he is beneath you, the more triggered he will be. And honestly, the more that you're going to become his emotional and sometimes his physical punching bag. So if you're in a relationship where you resonate with anything that I just said, please just get out. Get out of there. You're much better off single than with a guy whose attitude is to take you down a peg. After you've been out of that dangerous situation, I want you to really do the deep work. Commit to healing your self-confidence. Because the universe gave you a gift. You can only date confident, successful guys. God is not going to let you date down. And look at that as a gift, because it is.
I'm not sure what this gift that she's talking about really is, but here is another example of a woman blaming her own choices on the man himself. Now, I've said this in some of my past reaction videos before, that a lot of these women, these videos that these women do, they're directed at a specific guy, okay? And it comes across like they're talking to all men. And maybe that's because they will get more views because they're saying something somewhat controversial. But a lot of these are directed towards a specific guy, someone that hurt them or upset them. And I'm assuming that this is one of those videos, because it certainly sounds like it. She's talking about emasculated, insecure guy that might get a little abusive. And this sounds like an experience that she had with a guy that she really liked. But now that she's upset, she's more or less trying to put him down, saying that she's above him. But like I said before, if she thought that she was above him initially, she would have never dated him in the first place. Think of it like you're very attracted to a woman, you start dating her, and at some point during your relationship or courtship, that you decide that she's ugly. I mean, you chose that girl initially because you were attracted to her. She doesn't suddenly get ugly, but you may have learned some things about her over time that made her less attractive emotionally, obviously not physically, unless maybe she put on a bunch of weight or just stopped taking care of herself. And that does happen on the men's side too. And I've talked about this in some of my social media posts and videos in general, about how when you put in so much effort to initially attract a girl and get the girl to make her yours and into a relationship, and then a lot of guys, they just stop putting in the effort once they do get the girl. And then they often come to me and can't figure out why she wants to leave him. And the truth is, that's because the guy stopped being the same guy that she fell in love with. But women do this all the time too. I mean, ask just about any married guy out there. He had this hot, sexy vixen in the bedroom when he first started dating her and got engaged. And then as soon as he put the ring on her finger, that all stopped. Or like I said before, she stayed really beautiful. And as soon as they got married or into a long-term relationship, she put on a bunch of weight, stopped taking care of herself, no longer wearing makeup, things like that. And both men and women are guilty of doing it. But any woman saying that they have been dating down is just ridiculous. Obviously, initially, they thought the guy was pretty high value, because women just don't do that. They don't date down. They don't date a guy like she's doing him a favor. She might sleep with him to do him a favor, a pity lay or something like that. But they don't get deeply involved with men that they see as beneath them. Okay. Because women are hypergamous. They date, mate, and marry up in terms of sexual market value. So if he loses some of that value while they're in a relationship together, either the guy started slacking or she chose him based on traits and qualities that she realized wasn't really living up to her standards. But let's see what the next girl has to say.
Can we stop dating down? I'm begging. And I'm talking to my old self and probably my future self if I still haven't learned my lesson. But can we stop dating down? I hate to see it. I hate hearing about it. And it's just really disheartening. I hate it for women. I hate it for anybody that has dated down and left a situation empty, left a situation just where it's like, what did I get myself into? But yes, like I said, stop dating down. If I know that I make 7-8 figures a year, why am I going to date somebody who's not on that financial scale? And there's nothing wrong with not being on that financial scale yet, but I feel like this point in my life, I'm not dating down to accommodate you, meaning I'm not going to not be able to do the things I want, not be able to not get the gifts or the time or the dates or the trips or certain things that I want, my bills paid, certain accommodations from you, because that's not where we are equally yoked financially. I prefer and I would want my man to make more money than me. I'm 24. I've dated a lot of men, not a lot of men, but I've dated men that are not financially yoked with me. And I always found an excuse on why things weren't getting done. Even if it was for something very small, it still was no excuse on why it wasn't getting done. I want a man to make me feel secure financially, emotionally, physically, sensually, intellectually. Like, I want all of that in a man. And that's why I feel like, too, dating down and dating in general in this time, I don't want to say generation because that's just so blah, but in this time that we have access to so many different people and the courts are very short, they're very blah. Some men do go extreme for courting, some men do the bare minimum, and it's just like, no, I'm not okay with that no more. I'm not okay with accepting a bare minimum because you know I have money. I'm not okay with accepting the bare minimum to where it's like, you know, oh, if I don't do it, she got it. No, I don't want my man to have that mindset. No man should have that mindset. A man is meant to lead, protect, and lead and protect and supply security. That's what a man is. Whether, like I said, whether it's any of those dynamics I listed earlier, but can we just stop? Can we stop? And can y'all stop trying to date people y'all know that just don't like that? Can we just stop? It got me mad because I'm like, bro, people really be wasting other people's time. And it's like, stop dating down. We have to learn to see that first sign. We have to learn to just say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to not even engage in it. It is okay to know, baby, I'm up here. The person that's of interest is right here. This is not going to work. No, and it's okay. It is O-F-N-K for it not to work. But can we just stop, y'all? Please, can we stop? I'm begging, can we stop?
Now, here we have a woman that's telling men what a man really is. This sort of thing always really gets to me because women do not get to define what masculinity is and what a real man is. Okay, these are just shaming tactics in order for her to get what she wants. But again, she's the one choosing to date these particular men that she's complaining about. You know, men that don't make enough money, men that don't give her gifts and take her on trips and things of that nature. But she is choosing those men. It has nothing to do with the men themselves. Now, obviously, if you're a man, you should be trying to improve yourself and get yourself to a place where you do make more money and you're more fit and you're more confident. You have better social skills and things of that nature. But she also said that she's 24. So if she's looking for all those things right now, she should be dating a much older guy. Okay. And this is nothing to 20-something-year-olds. It's just that you're not in a place in life right now where you would be considered high value. You're just not in a place in your life yet where you have been able to build up your value to something where your average woman really wants to be with a man such as you. This is why most men don't really hit their stride until their 30s. because, they have to start at the bottom and build themselves up. Women tend to be born with their value. They get their beauty from their genes, and they really don't have to do that much until they start getting older, where they really have to start taking care of themselves in order to keep their beauty. But a woman in her young to mid-20s, she's at her physical peak in terms of her beauty. In most cases, obviously, there's some women that don't really hit their stride until they're in their later 20s. But for the most part, women are considered at their most beautiful in their early to mid-20s. And that's not a shot at women. It's just how nature made it, basically. But what she's complaining about here is the men that she has chosen. And perhaps she's talking to other women with this video. Ladies, you need to stop dating down. But like I said, women do not date down. They might find that out later on, that the guy just wasn't living up to those standards or living up to the man that she thought he was. But women choose. Women are the choosers. We could go up to 50 different girls and talk to them, and there's going to be a few that actually want to date us. Unless, of course, you're really good looking as I am. But women are the choosers, okay? So any complaints that they have about the men that they're dating, that's their own fault. Those are the men that they chose to get into a relationship with, and they ended up disappointed. Now, men, like I said, you should all, no matter what age you are, you should all be working on trying to build your own value. And this isn't for women. This isn't so you can attract more women. That just happens to be a nice byproduct of doing all this work on yourself. But you want to always be improving, okay? This is a lifelong journey. And some of the areas that you want to work on, obviously, you want to be chasing your goals and indulging in your hobbies. You want to improve your health and your fitness, body, mind, and spirit. And you want to be building and maintaining your social circle. And this includes meeting and dating new women. And I've said in my other videos before, you should be dating multiple women, at least as much as you can. So you get that experience, number one. But number two, you're not going to be getting hung up on one particular girl when you have two or three or maybe more that are vying for your attention. If you think about it, most of us get upset that one girl isn't texting us back, or she's not available for dates, or maybe she's not sleeping with us, whatever the case may be. If you had two or three other girls that wanted your attention just as much as this one, or more than this one that's not responding to you, are you going to worry about that girl calling you back or texting you back? No, of course not. You're not going to care. You're going to be indifferent to it because you have two or three other girls that you could contact right now and go out on a date with. And it's really the same in all areas. This is called abundance. When you have abundance in your life, you're not stressed out and feeling needy and trying to fill voids everywhere. Okay? If you have enough money, are you going to be stressed out about money? No, of course you won't. Obviously, we all want to live at least a comfortable life. Not everyone wants to be super rich, but being wealthy certainly will help with all that. And if you have activities in your life that you do, hobbies that you indulge in, and just things that you're passionate about, you're not going to feel bored sitting around at home just watching Netflix, doing all-night binges on certain shows that you like, being completely bored out of your mind. And with all that, that's going to make you feel fulfilled and happy as an individual. And when you have all that, you're going to feel extra confident too. And when you get to that level, these women that are complaining about dating down, they won't be complaining about you. No, they're going to be fighting for you, okay? Because as you can see, these women complaining about these men, most men don't live up to that standard of what they want. And like I said, this isn't about building yourself up so you can get women. This is just a byproduct of building yourself up, because all women want a man who's the prize. However, what they don't think about or they don't talk about is that once they do get that man, they have to live up to his standards. And then it becomes a lot more complicated. And it's kind of like a switch, a power flip, if you will. They have to keep up to his standards in order to keep that man. Now, let's just hope that man is you. So don't worry about these women that are talking about dating down and just bashing men in general. Don't even worry about that stuff. When you guys think about that and get involved in these, social media accounts that are just bashing women and telling you how terrible they are, this puts ideas into your head and it keeps you in the state of anger and bitterness, to where when you do meet a woman that you actually like, you have this chip on your shoulder, and women are going to be completely turned off by that. So try not to pay attention to these things and just not care what their opinions on men are in general. And then, of course, continue working on improving yourself and building up your value to a point where you have abundance in your life, and then you won't care about any of this stuff. Okay, you will walk into a room and heads will turn towards you, and the attractive women will want to talk to you. Now, it's not always exactly as easy as I'm making it sound right now, because building up your value and improving yourself does take a lot of work. It really does. But once you get there, you're going to be so happy that you did it, and you're not going to stop because you want to maintain that. Okay, so if you guys need any help, like I said, come on over to my website at soa.fm. That's SOA for Skill of Attraction, and FM because it's fucking magic. And at my website, you could also register and post your questions, and me and the rest of the community will answer your questions for you. But this is for like quick questions. If you want full-blown coaching, that's not the way to go, because I just don't answer those long-ass questions. But you can click on the coaching tab. Also, be sure to like this video and share it with any of your friends and family, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you keep updated on my new videos. Like I said, I'm going to be posting more often now. I do shorts every day, so there's a lot of information that you can take in and really get yourself to a point where you understand women, you understand how attraction works and all that fun stuff, because it really is kind of fascinating. I wouldn't be doing this if I thought otherwise. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.